DeCourcy is the famed sports writer from the Sporting News. He's also very popular on the Big Ten Network. They just announced their season broadcasting schedule and partners and everyone that's involved. And, of course, DeCourcy on the top shelf, the top rung of the talent there, will be covering massive Big Ten basketball. The only problem with Big Ten basketball is the last time they won a NCAA championship was before Christ. And you wrote about it, and Tom Izzo talked about it, and you're both right. I mean, it is really embarrassing. And I got to tell you, you got problems in that conference when the most exciting thing going in the Big Ten is my Indiana Hoosiers. 6-0, scoring 40-plus points a week. Your boy Signetti getting it all accomplished in Bloomington.
Well, Scott, as we can attest, the present company included, if you want something done right, you got to get a Pittsburgher. That's
right.
It's quite obvious. Curt Signetti has done a magnificent job in energizing a program that's had very few moments of excitement in its history, really. They had some nice moments under Lee Corso. They had that one terrific season under Tom Allen in 2020 during the pandemic year when Michael Penix was their quarterback. But this is really something to see, and they've got a week now to prepare for Nebraska, which I've always viewed as a pivotal game for them. It's a home game, should be a great crowd. It's a great opportunity for the Hoosiers, and if they get it, then they'll be talking about it, not just the silly ranking stuff that we're talking about now, but like some serious possibilities. I mean, they still have to play Michigan and they have to play Ohio State, et cetera. But if they can get Nebraska at home, they have real possibilities of having a significant season, not just bowl eligibility and we get to go play in Shreveport or whatever. No, we're talking about maybe them playing some serious games in December and January.
I mean, it really is unbelievable. And I guess my question is, look, I think Michigan has a horrible rack of quarterbacks, and Indiana doesn't have that problem. Now, I think Ohio State is loaded with talent, absolutely shredded every position. They're incredible. But they're playing them in Columbus, and I think what will be fascinating to me is if, for once in their life, they could hang with Ohio State, because they've never been able to hang with Ohio State, and they certainly haven't done well against Michigan. But I think that Michigan team, like I bet on Washington last week at Husky Stadium. That's a hostile place to play. I've been there in Seattle. It is a tough place to play, and they lost. And their quarterbacks, I mean, how many of them are they going to use? How many do they have? They started bringing in Tuttle. I thought it was Y.A. Tittle. I didn't know what I was seeing. I think Indiana can actually beat them.
I think them meaning the Wolverines, or them meaning the Wolverines and the Buckeyes?
Wolverines. And
I think that's true.
I want them to hang with Ohio State. If they could hang with them and be in the game, let's say it's a wild game, and that they would gain respect nationally, like they're legit if they can hang with them. I can't win a bunch of games against nobodies and then get beat by 30 by Ohio State, because they'll lose all the respect in 5 minutes.
Well, I think a lot of that depends, again. That Nebraska game is huge, which I believe is next weekend. They've got this weekend off, and then next weekend they face Nebraska. It's a huge game. And they've got some other games that are losable along the way. But obviously the ones you circle after this are the Michigan home game and the Ohio State road game. And I think if they could continue to succeed as they have, beating the teams the sort of teams that they've beaten, like Maryland, good team, not great, but good, winning at Northwestern. If they could continue to go in that vein, I think being competitive against Ohio State would mean a lot. But I think it's more important that they win the winnable games, which, when you look at what the odds would say, that's pretty much everything left except for the trip to Ohio State.
So why is Big Ten basketball so good, yet so far away from a title?
Yeah, a lot of that's been circumstantial. They've been in a lot of Final Fours. The last time I checked, and I haven't checked this in a little while, but the last time I checked, they had about as many Final Fours, if not more, than any conference in college basketball since the 2020 season, or excuse me, the 2000 season, when they won their most recent national championship. And so they've had a ton of Final Fours. They just haven't had the right team to get all the way home. I mean, I think last year's Purdue team would have won the championship a lot of years, including probably the prior year against the 2023 UConn team, but they weren't beating UConn 2024, one of the really terrific teams we've seen in this century. Michigan State makes the final in Detroit in 2009. Well, great, but the team that they played against, Carolina, was one of the legendary teams in college basketball history. They were fantastic. They had 4 first-round picks on their team. Right. It's just sometimes it works out like that, and they have always been a deeper conference than they have been a conference that produces the absolute elite team. That's just the way it's been for most of this century. It's been great for their fans to watch. It's certainly been great to call on BTN, but producing that one special, extraordinary team just hasn't happened.
You know, I got to ask you, when you go into this season, do you think that, like, you know how these new teams from the West have come into the Big Ten in football? What do you think they're going to be like when they come in on the basketball side?
Well, I think that, first of all, you've got the fact that they were very careful about scheduling these games. They've gone more for multiple days of rest, 2 to 3 days rest in between games. They've been very careful about that, something that wasn't always a high consideration in conferences like the Pac-12 in the past. They were used to playing on one-day prep a lot. Now you get more days of prep, more days of opportunity if you have a bad game to try to regroup for the next one. We've seen, to this point statistically, teams have not performed well in football when traveling multiple time zones. But they've performed fine in other sports. I mean, I pointed out, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, Pitt's women's volleyball team has been to the West Coast on multiple occasions already this season and is undefeated wherever they play. Has only lost 1 set so far. So I don't know that the travel is impacting every athlete in every sport. I think basketball players will do fine with it, especially with the care that, at least in the Big Ten, that's been presented to scheduling. I'm not saying they haven't in the Big 12 or the ACC, which are also going to have long trips. I just haven't studied that.
So you wrote an article about a player that I really like watching play basketball, Juju Watkins. She's something else. And basically, in essence, you said that she can pick up the pieces from Caitlin Clark, you know, leaving Iowa for pro basketball. And this girl, I got to tell you, I think her and that Rice kid at UCLA can both flat out ball. Those are great women's basketball players.
Yeah, they were in the Elite Eight last season with Juju as a freshman. A much different player than Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is a point guard who can fill it up. And she showed that this year by leading the WNBA in assists and, before she left college, breaking the all-time NCAA women's Division I scoring record. So she showed that she can do both those things. Juju's more of a wing athlete, scorer type player. And as Lindsay Gottlieb, the terrific coach for the SC women, told me last week, she doesn't like to use these comparisons, but it's a little bit more like a LeBron, like a Michael Jordan, like a Michael Jordan kind of player. Not that she wasn't super comfortable using the comparison, but it's that kind of player, the player who brings dynamism and intelligence in terms of how to play and great shooting ability and fills it up. And I think that's what you'll see from Juju in the Big Ten this year.
I can't wait to see her another season into her great career there at USC. Mike, fabulous stuff today. Enjoy the rest of your week and all the games this weekend. We'll see you next week.